All right. We are back for Roundtable Ravens, episode number 27. I am once again joined by Billy, and we're going to get right into some Ravens football news. We talked about this last time, and I'm a little bit more of a believer. Mr. Jacoby Lane, rookie wide receiver, was on the
About
lounge.
time.
Look, I like him. I like him. USC, come on. I mean, like I'm all for it. But I really liked what he said on the lounge. He had a lot to say. He talked about his versatility. He talked about Declan Doyle's offense. But more importantly, what I appreciated what he said is like he doesn't really care where he's put. He just wants to play. And I think that's a really important attitude to have as a player. And, shed that ego and just try to be as useful or utilized as you can possibly be, especially when you're a younger player. What I really appreciate, he's like, I don't care if I'm on special teams. Like that's not something that a lot of players often say. So yeah, I really like what he had to say. I honestly think right now, I think there's going to be I think both of them are going to get a lot of playing time. I don't think that Rashad Bateman is going to live up to whatever they've been waiting for him to live up to. Personally, I just don't see it. And I think that's going to lead to both Elijah Surratt and Jacoby Lane getting a lot more opportunity, especially because, I mean, Lamar was already establishing that connection with both of them during minicamp, and he had nothing but great things to say. And then you listen to Jacoby Lane talk on the lounge, and I think it's interesting that Declan Doyle was using him more so as like a big slot receiver as opposed to him being like a go route receiver, which I think is really interesting and really cool. Especially they brought up the blocking thing when he blocked Zion and they got into a little tussle afterwards, which again, as a receiver, you can be even more important to an offense if you can block. That's like one
hmm
of like that's like for the Dolphins. That's what Jalen Waddle was. Like he could block his butt off. And if Lane's a big dude, he's like 6'4". I mean, he's a little lighter side. I think he's like
Yeah,
maybe 200, 195, something like that.
he looks
But
small.
yeah, but
Small by
regardless,
NFL standards.
yeah, I mean, like you're able to keep pace with like a Zion Young who's like 260 or whatever. Like that's huge. So
Mhm.
honestly, no, I'm a little bit more of a believer in Mr. Lane, and we'll see what happens.
I know a Raven when I see him. Jacoby Lane was a Raven day one. And it's interesting that he is actually the kind of player that John Harbaugh would have drafted. He was very adamant in rookies cutting their teeth in special teams.
Hmm.
So it's a shame Harbs isn't here to enjoy him and his versatility. But yeah, I think he's got the exact right attitude. I've seen him doing videos with the team chefs. He's around the facility having a great time. And it's really encouraging to see him willing and ready to go wherever he's needed. And I think that that type of energy as a rookie is great because it is one thing to want to be the guy and like want to come out and dazzle first, first try and come out and be the Puka Nakua of the next Puka Nakua of the NFL.
Yeah.
So, but to just show up and do your job and do it well and do what you're needed to do is equally as important. And the Ravens aren't known previously for having those star wide receivers. Zay Flowers is kind of the first homegrown Raven to kind of become that name. So I think it's important that he is, ready to do that. But of course, this is an entirely new era. Declan Doyle may have big hopes and dreams for Jacoby Lane, may have big plans for him outside of special teams, but I think it's good to see him just willing and ready to go.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, again, it all really depends on, how everything shakes out. I mean, obviously, everyone keeps praising Declan Doyle for his offensive prowess thus far, but the pads aren't even on and there's not much going on competition-wise just yet. But, if he can find a way to use all of them, like hell yeah, because that's what the Ravens need. They needed pass catcher help for a long time. And you can't just have Zay Flowers be the only guy because then your offense becomes one dimensional. And that's not a knock against Lamar being able to run and Derrick Henry, but in the pass catching capabilities, it's been very minimal. So to have two rookies who could potentially break out is huge for the team because it's like you want to hit on one, but if you get both, that there you go. And especially again, going back to what I said about Bateman, if he does not emerge, if he does not prove that the patience given to him through these years has been worth it, then you already have your replacements right then and there. You have your potential wide receiver 2 and 3 and Elijah Surratt and Jacoby Lane. So
I mean, it would do Bate well to just show up and out for his own career's sake.
yeah,
I think he's been more fed up of the way he's been treated or underused as opposed to like any skill set issues because as I said in previous weeks, like he does show up sometimes for those big downs and he does like kind of save their butts sometimes. And I don't think he felt appreciated for that. And obviously this is an entirely new regime, but I think more than anything, Rashad Bateman is ready to show up and out on another team as opposed to in Baltimore.
yeah. I mean, but
But you got to show up and out to do that in the Ravens to be
yeah,
getting anyone knocking down your
yeah,
door.
exactly. You gotta. They may not even want to bring him back, even if he does have a decent year. And but if that's the case, he's only going to help his next spot by being able to show that he can still be a wide receiver that a team needs.
Yeah, and maybe these two guys are going to push him. We don't know.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and then Doyle, maybe he's going to be able to finally unlock something that's been missing from his game or what have you.
Yeah.
Like you said, maybe he just didn't get the fair shake with John Harbaugh, with Todd Monken. So we'll see. But we will see very soon because the Ravens have announced their official training camp dates, which are going to be from July 19th to August 17th. One big change already, which I like. I appreciate it. I think it's
July
important.
29th, no?
Is it 29th? Did I put 19th or 29th?
Week 1 is July 29th.
29th, my bad. 29th to August 17th. That's my fault. That's what I meant to say. Anyway, one big change though. Mr. Jesse Minter is going to be starting his at like 10 or 11 a.m. as opposed to John Harbaugh, who was more of a afternoon practice type of guy. So I don't know. Maybe this is going to help. Maybe this isn't going to help. I mean, it's going to be hot, so it's definitely going to help the fans that have to go out there and get the open, that want to go to the open practices. You're not going to have to be sweltering as much because you're going to be there 10 or 11 in the morning. It's not going to be too bad. So, hey, big change. Jesse Minter era.
Yeah.
Here we go.
It can get pretty muggy out in Maryland. So, I think that that's probably a good thing. And I think that there have been comments in the past about that because that isn't necessarily football weather when it comes to September time in Baltimore. It's not really that hot. So you're probably playing more accurate temperatures around that time too.
Exactly. There you go. And again, I think it's important to kind of make a change, instead of like, hey, that we're going to stick to what John Harbaugh was doing. Like, it's not John Harbaugh's team anymore. So I think it's important that Jesse Minter is already putting his stamp and going, look, this is how I'm going to do it. And then there you go. There's no dancing around it. Like, it's his team. He's going to do what he wants to do.
Yeah. And I think it's going to be interesting this year because I think for the first time in a while, there's a lot of shifts, especially on offense. And I think it's going to be interesting seeing the offensive line come under development. And I think also is where we're going to see the wide receivers kind of burst out too, hopefully. And I'm also going to be looking at those defensive rookies. I want to see who's going to be making an impact there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm interested to see Zion Young in the sense that like, because we know what Trey Hendrickson is. He's a great pass rusher, but he is not a good run stopper whatsoever. So I'm really interested to see if they're going to be utilizing Zion Young more on that, as opposed to him being like a direct pass rusher. Just in certain situations, maybe third down plays, but he's mostly going to be there to, stop people. Not that the Ravens are terrible at stopping the run by any means. They've always been pretty good at that. But,
Yeah.
Trey Hendrickson is not that guy. So we'll see. Well, I mean, maybe he will be. Anthony Weaver's back. You got Jesse Minter in the building. So maybe, they'll be able to unlock that within him. So Zion Young, I'm excited. I know we're very excited to see Elijah Surratt and Jacoby Lane, see what they're up to. All exciting stuff coming up for the Ravens.
And very soon, it's really, really here. We're
Yeah.
really just a few weeks
Well,
out from preseason.
it's like a month, but
Well, look, when we get to training camp, it's
Yeah.
only a few weeks out until preseason.
yeah, that's true. So other than that, the Ravens have like a 5-week break, as do the rest of the 31 teams in the NFL. And Lamar Jackson is living it up.
It's having a great time.
He's having a great old time. I was very shocked that he appeared in New York celebrating with the Knicks fans because they won the championship. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know he was a Knicks fan. Maybe he's not. Maybe he is. I don't know. But he was out there just living it up on the streets, taking pictures with fans, having a good old time. But then it became more evident why he was out there. So Kai Cenat, who's like one of the biggest streamers, one of the biggest content creators in the entire world, is I learned all about this. I didn't even know he put together a streaming university, which is basically his own education um, system, or I don't know if it's going to be a straight location or whatever, but it's basically to teach up and coming content creators how to be better at what they do, which in this day and age, that's where you make money, is being content creator. That's what everybody wants to do. Apparently there's people that make millions of dollars doing it. More power to them. I'm hoping that more people watch our podcast, because then we can get paid more,
Hey
and then
guys,
that would be great.
click that subscribe.
Click subscribe, like, share, do all this stuff. But anyway, Lamar Jackson showed up at the auditions, and it was a very funny video. Kai Cenat was sitting there like grilling him basically, and Lamar's like laughing, and he's like, "Are you ready to be a content creator?" Which, as we know, Lamar Jackson does not need help being a content creator. He posts one thing on Twitter and it goes crazy. So
Literally.
yeah. So, but anyway, it was cool to see him doing that. He was like, again, in New York. I think that's where the streaming university auditions were taking place. And then on top of that, he went to the TikTok headquarters out there and worked at TikTok for a day as well, which I thought was really funny as well. Again, he's just side quest Lamar right now.
Well, I love this from him because I feel like the past few years and most of his career, really, he's not been out there like that. He's not been in the press. I think last year was the first time he kind of started doing stuff like that. I think he did some like workout videos with some people on YouTube, and maybe like one like magazine interview, but he's just not a press kind of guy. He's very like closed off. And I think that like it's nice to see him relaxed and enjoying himself. I saw those videos of him walking through New York with all those fans around him and he looked happy. He looked like he was having a good time. It doesn't always look like that. Sometimes he looks, not so happy to be bombarded in that way, but he's a great guy. And I think that, seeing him enjoy, maybe he's feeling a little bit more relaxed this off season. Maybe there isn't that pressure. Maybe he knows with a new era comes a little bit more grace. And yes, there's expectation, but not right away. I think Jesse Minter's going to get a couple of years to really show who he is. So maybe he does just feel that way. Maybe he feels a little bit more relaxed this off season. He's happy to go out and enjoy those extra opportunities.
Yeah, definitely. And, there's still a lot of chatter around surrounding Lamar. There's always going to be a lot of chatter, as you just said. Like, I think because of that, he's not really been able to enjoy himself, in the sense that, like, it's always constantly, what's Lamar doing? What's he up to? And, he has to constantly be talking about that, as opposed to him going out and just having a good time and being not being an NFL player for that small little window in which you get to not be an NFL player. Or, you know what I mean? Like, not having to practice and all that. But
Yeah.
the chatter still continues. Are they gonna get a deal done in 2026? I still firmly believe they are not. I think he's still gonna be patiently waiting to see how everything unfolds rather. And I think it's smarter for him to see, because you don't want to go and put your chips all on the table with so many unknowns. And really, it's even better for him because the ball is in his court and he's his own representation. He does not have an agent. So
And his mom.
yeah, and his mom,
Give her the respect she deserves.
and his mom. But regardless, it's their game. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, they're calling the shots, and if they don't like what they hear, okay, then we're gonna wait and be patient. And he's done that before, and he did that with his last extension. And I know Patrick Mahomes just got that mega deal, so maybe he's kind of waiting for something similar to that. Like, look, if you really want me to be the Patrick Mahomes or the Lamar Jackson of the Baltimore Ravens, which we know he already is, pay me.
Well, yeah. I mean, every year you wait, the higher up your price goes, as long as you stay healthy. So it's a risk on both parts. He could go onto the field. I'm not even going to say it. He could go onto the field, bad things could happen. And, then you come out the other side and you don't have that deal, you don't have that protection, which I think some players it benefits more to do that. But when you're Lamar Jackson and that next season, should you want to move on, every team in the NFL is going to be blowing up your phone. I think it makes sense, to wait out to see if this really feels right, this new shift, this new regime, but also a business decision, money minded. Every year you wait, that price tag goes up, and every new extension that comes around, the longer he waits, the longer he puts it off, the more beneficial it is for him financially. So it makes sense for him, and I think I'd agree with you. I don't think that there's going to be a deal done this year. I don't think it would be smart for him. He doesn't know how this team is going to unfold. He doesn't know what's going to happen next year. There are a lot of contracts up next year too. All of his other best players could end up leaving the facility and then what, So I think he will just be waiting it out and it will be more like crunch time, flashbacks to April 2023, I think it was when all that went
Mhm.
down. So unfortunately, I think Ravens fans are going to be waiting a little bit before you get that sigh of relief. But I think really Lamar doesn't want to go anywhere. He's built a career somewhere. He promised the city of Baltimore a Super Bowl, and I think until that happens, I think he's going to stick out his promise.
Yeah, definitely. Again, yeah, it would be smart for him to just patiently wait to see, especially that because with all the free agents that left this past offseason, you don't want to be on a team where they're like not prioritizing bringing in the
Yep.
people around you. And the issue with the Ravens for multiple years is either you haven't had enough pass catching help or you haven't had a good offensive line. So those are two components that affect Lamar Jackson in a
And we're
big
still waiting to see.
and exactly. So it's like why go and put like again, put your chips all on the table. Yeah, you're gonna get that bag for sure, but then at what cost? To waste your prime years and you not win a Super Bowl? No.
Mm.
So anyway,
Sorry, not have better news, but I think you will be waiting a little bit longer for a Lamar Jackson
yeah,
extension.
he's not gonna get a deal done this
And I
season.
don't think it's going to be for lack of want of trying. Like they're definitely having those conversations. That's definitely something that they're feeling out. I just think in his mind, he knows that the benefits outweigh the risks of waiting, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And apparently, everybody seems to think that the Ravens are not going to be the Ravens in 2026. So
Everybody,
everybody that's
or a former Steeler.
look, okay, I'm going to add somebody else that just popped up too, but let's start
Ugh.
with a former Steeler, somebody that knows the Ravens organization very well. That's Mr. Big Ben Roethlisberger on his podcast, who said the championship window for the Ravens has closed because they were going through the Steelers' schedule and trying to predict if the Steelers will make the playoffs and how well or not well they'll play in 2026. And they got to the Ravens at week 16 and he completely brushed it off and was like, nah, their championship window's closed. We're good. That's kind of what he said. Not verbatim, but it's
Mm.
the gist of it. So on top of that, we got Mr. Colin Cowherd, who also said that Lamar Jackson regressed and to take the under, which is at 11 and a half games. And he said that he can't run anymore, basically. His rushing numbers went down to less than 30 yards a game. He said they were 8-9. New head coach, new offensive coordinator. You know how hard it is to win 12 games in the AFC North. That's what he said, which I will say, sure. The 12 game
Mhm.
thing, absolutely. Like it's anybody winning 12 games in the NFL is hard to do. We know this, especially when you're a team that always has a tougher schedule. You're always going to be playing those upper
And
echelon
in a tough
teams.
division.
Yeah, so it's a tough division, fine. But I don't know to say that Lamar Jackson is regressed. He had a bad year. Like who doesn't have a bad year? Josh Allen's had several bad years. Like all the good quarterbacks have
And
had bad.
yeah, he gets rewarded for it. So
Patrick Mahomes has had now bad years, and he's
yeah,
still
last
considered.
season.
Yeah, he's still considered to be one of the top quarterbacks, if not the top, the guy at the top. So, yeah. Again, I know we've talked about this. We're going to continue talking about this because it just seems like everybody's always like, oh, the Ravens this, the Ravens that. But I don't know. It's Lamar Jackson. He's a two-time league MVP for a reason. He had a tough year. The Ravens had a tough year. But to say that their championship window has closed and to say that he's regressed in a way that he may not be able to run. Mina Kimes also said that if he is aging in his rushing ability, he's still a great thrower, which again, that's kind of like a backwards compliment, so to speak. But I don't know. I personally, I don't think any of this is valid because he had one bad year.
I don't take anyone seriously when they're talking about Lamar in this way because it's been his entire career. Every time there's something to complain about, day one, oh, he's not going to go anywhere because he is only a rushing quarterback. Okay, so he wins the MVP. Oh, but he can't throw. Okay, so he really improves his throwing ability and wins another MVP. Oh, but now he's slowing down and there's always something with him. And I don't know. I mean, I do know what it is. It's, people have very strong opinions about black quarterbacks versus white quarterbacks. And I think, that has to be commented on when talking about Lamar Jackson. They don't do this for these other guys. Josh Allen is a rushing quarterback, is dual threat quarterback. Don't have the same comments every year about him slowing down, despite the fact that his head coach has also just been fired. They're in very similar predicaments. And it seems like every year this conversation is very focused on Lamar. And you know what? I agree with Ben Roethlisberger. He said they're not the same team, and they're not the same team, but good. because that team didn't get it done. They've not been to the Super Bowl since 2013. Change was needed. Will it be a good change? We don't know yet. That's still got to be seen. But I think that, they seem lighter. The team seems more energized. They seem younger in spirit. Maybe not younger in age, but I think that excitement and that thrill of something new is going to push them. And Lamar was injured last year. And it seemed like Ben Roethlisberger didn't know that. He was like, maybe he was injured. It was like, he was injured. He was on the injury report every single week. And I think a fully healthy Lamar Jackson is a threat. They said the same thing about Derrick Henry when he come to Baltimore. And then everyone shut up week 2 when he just completely showed up and out. So I don't think any of these comments are going to play on their minds. This happens every year with the Ravens. And I just think it shows people not really, paying attention to history.
I will say that Colin Cowherd is just one for saying just ridiculous things. Like,
oh yeah,
he says the things that make people mad for sure. And Ben Roethlisberger is the Ravens' rival, so why would he be like,
of
yeah,
course.
Lamar's going to be great? Like, he wouldn't.
He
say
has
that.
a lot of respect for the organization, but
Yeah.
he knows how to trash talk, and also, that's the Steelers Ravens way. And once a Steeler, always a Steeler. Like once a Raven, always a Raven. And he did also say the Steelers were going 12-5, and that just sounds a little bit delusional to me. So I'm not taking anything that he said seriously.
I think right now, like the division's wide open simply because like everybody, 3 of the 4 teams have a brand new head coach. So like anything could happen because Mike McCarthy is Mike McCarthy. Don't get me wrong, but he still hasn't been a coach in the NFL for what, 2 seasons now? I think it was last time he was 2023. I can't remember 2024.
Yeah,
I can't remember. But anyway, the point being like, yeah, he knows Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers is a dinosaur at this point. And look,
catching strays.
he did a decent job, but he's still old. He's old in NFL. He's a dinosaur in NFL age.
He is.
Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, whatever.
And he's not Tom Brady 40 something. He's Aaron Rodgers 40 something. And he's showing.
Tom Brady was 42 when he won the Super Bowl last. So.
Yeah,
so
probably, and he was like, "Nah, I'm done now," and I could probably still go for 5 years and be Tom Brady, but really? That's not Aaron Rodgers.
No, not at all. So
to say they're going 12-5, I'll believe it when I see it. This is the first time in a really long time where these coaches don't know each other intimately.
Yeah,
Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh showing up every week. They knew each other's tricks. This time we don't. Like, it's not the same. Todd Monken, knows a few things about the Ravens, so that would be more interesting to watch, I think, as opposed to whatever Mike McCarthy's cooking up. But
yeah, exactly.
Who am I to talk?
We'll see. I mean, here we are. Training camp is a month away ish. So we're right around the corner. All these questions will start to get answered. All these teams will start to show themselves and see what they're like. Joint practices will be very telling as well, and all that good stuff. But, we're right here trying to defend the ridiculous nature of people saying that Lamar Jackson is not going to be Lamar Jackson. So anyway.
Do you know what? Sometimes those comments really do get under them, and it really pushes them forward. Whenever they're doubted and they're the underdogs, that's when they show up the most. So keep talking.
Exactly.
I think is what the Ravens were saying. Keep talking.
Go ahead. Keep saying everything. But yeah, this has been Roundtable Ravens episode 27. We're getting these a little short, getting to the point. We will be back next week again to talk more training camp battles and all that good stuff. We're in the lull period, as Billy put it earlier, off camera, and that's what we are in. But we're going to keep talking about Ravens football. Thank you guys so much for listening. Do us a favor because we're talking about content creation and we want to be rich like Kai Cenat. Share.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Like, subscribe, do all the things. In the description of this video, you will find the official Ravens Roundtable site where I deliver news, analysis, and all that good stuff. Please go give that a follow. You can create an account for free, all that good stuff. You can talk crap to me. I will talk back to you and all that good stuff. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening.